Chargers versus Raiders, what to expect. Their defense is considered possibly a top 10, maybe even top 5 defense. They added Christian Wilkins to their defensive line from Miami. He's very good. The touchdowns they allowed last year, they allowed only 2.2 per game, which is 11th in the league. Pretty good at not allowing points. They were kind of mid-pack in rushing yards allowed last year. That's without Wilkins, so they should be better. They allowed 21 touchdowns last year, just kind of almost mid to better, mid to good. They allowed 4.2 yards per carry on rush, just kind of mid. Rush yards allowed, they were kind of mid. In pass yards allowed, they were pretty good in that, only 6.9 per pass. Two edge rushes are pretty good. Kuntz had 81.3 PFF grade last year. Crosby had a 92.1. And then with the addition with Wilkins, who had a 71.8. Depending on where they use him, it's going to be pretty hard to defend. I think 1v1 versus any of those guys, it's going to be hard. If they command a 2x2, that's going to free up someone else. Raiders are using Marv Lewis as a consultant, so you know that he's going to dial up a lot of blitz. Based on how they played us in the second game last year, they used a lot of cover 2 looks, but brought the safety down and played kind of a version of cover 1, but with the cornerbacks playing off. I anticipate maybe like out routes will be open, post corners. Linebackers, with the exception of Masterson, are not very good in the pass. Linebackers are pretty good in run, with the exception of Diablo. I think if Chargers can effectively run at Jenkins and Diablo, probably be pretty effective. Our method. Raiders tend to bring down the safety when there's a 2 tight end set. That would help the Chargers out a lot in pass as well as run. The cornerbacks playing off a lot. Yeah, anticipate again those curl routes to be open, maybe stop and goes. They tend to jump routes a lot, so maybe a lot of pump fakes, stop goes, post corners, out routes from the second game. What I saw in the second game last year, the screens worked well because they're aggressive defense. Hitches worked well. I think jet sweeps probably going to work well if you can get a good blocking on the outside. Cornerbacks are a little bit smaller with QJ blocking, maybe Brendan Rice or DJ Chark. They can good run blocks. The runs to the outside might work really well. Get away from their interior, get away from Crosby and their linebackers. Their nickel package is not good in terms of their nickel being good. Bennett running the ball in a spread offense could work really well, especially if you're running to the outside. It'll be interesting to see how that presents itself and see what works. They run kind of like a cover 1 with the cornerbacks playing off. There they jump the curl route to Gerald Everett. In this play, again, they're running that cover 1 with the cornerbacks off. Receiver running down the hash seems to be open deep, but by that time the pressure's getting to the quarterback, so ends up getting sacked. And then this tight end is running right at the linebackers. The safety jumps at in route, and the backside post looks open right at the hash. On this play, we do a flood. Darius is open. If you get it to Darius, I'm sure he could probably, more often than not, he's probably going to break a tackle if it's 1v1. On this play, the left defensive tackle, since it's a zone to the right, he 2 gaps, and the right defensive tackle, he's shooting that right side shade gap. Play action rollout. Most of these routes are open, especially behind the linebackers. Jet sweep route on the outside is open. Then the tight end on the hash is open as well. On this play, they're in man coverage. The defender runs with the wide receiver all the way across the field, so then they end up sending 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Running back doesn't get the guy coming through the center and guard, ends up getting an easy sack. So I think in this game, it's going to be interesting to see how well we pick up the blitz, how well our interior holds up against Wilkins and Crosby, and will our run game be effective in a spread offense, and will our pass game be effective with a 2 tight end set, maybe even 3 tight end set. So it'll be interesting how that gets presented and how it evolves. But I think it'd be a good test, first test for our offense, and see kind of where we're at offensively.